Hello, and welcome back to the No Score Review Show, where we have in-depth critique and nuanced discussion of some of the latest movies, television, and video games. I am your host, Nick Green, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We are going to be reviewing the 2024 Vancouver International Film Festival. I decided to bring back both of my friends who I did last year's episode with, because we all went again this year. And yeah, it'll be very similar structure. We'll go over our general thoughts of the festival overall, and then kind of get into some more specifics of our top picks of the festival, and then any other kind of honorable mentions if we have the time. So yeah, joining me for this episode are Piero Ciprian and Matt Schmidt. Thank you so much for joining me again, and welcome back.
My pleasure.
So yeah, we'll just... Well, yeah, it was a bit of a song and dance getting here, but my God, we got here in the end, and that's what matters most.
Yes.
I'm excited to chat about the festival with you. Yeah, no, we'll leave that in the dark.
I'm excited to chat in the dark right now.
Yeah, I thought you got rid of that. This is really random. I thought you got rid of that salt lamp. Where did you even have that?
It was sitting up here. It's just because like the light bulb inside burnt out and I couldn't use it.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay.
But then I got a new one.
Okay. Speaking of burnt out, I bet that's how you're feeling after the festival, Matt. You did quite a circuit of films this year. How many did you see in total? I don't remember.
21 films in total, and then I also saw one of the shorts forums as well.
Okay, cool. And then how many did you see, Piero, in total?
I got to see 12 movies in total.
12, okay.
So,
I'm following up right behind you. Yeah, I got 11 in there. It was initially planned for 10, but I managed to squeeze in one more thanks to Matt's extra pass. But yeah, my thoughts overall, this is only my second time doing the festival, and I don't think it quite was as good personally as last year. But there were some pretty high highs in last year's lineup. But I think overall the ratio was still pretty good of films I saw versus the films I liked overall. There wasn't that many I actively disliked, very few, honestly. Yeah, still really glad I went overall. Wish I could have maybe fit in more. I would have loved to do taking the week off again. I hope to do that at some point in the future and just have my sole focus be the festival itself. That would be a really great way to do it and experience it. But yeah, let's hear your guys' thoughts. Piero, do you want to start things off?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and this year I really enjoyed the festival. Compared to last year, the films that I saw last year were good, but I don't know, there were a lot more heavy hitters, a lot more just films that were totally up my alley that I was really intrigued from. All the praise from Cannes this year and Venice and lots of festivals around the circuit, and I'm just hearing so many more amazing movies from other people, just a lot of praise that I missed from the festival. So yeah, this festival this year I was expecting good, and I was leaving the festival even getting better stuff.
Even gooder.
So I'm even gooder.
Piero Ciprian, even gooder. That'll be the what are they called? The accolade trailer where you get your pull quote in.
Yeah, like the Megalopolis trailer with all the AI.
Yeah.
Except it'll actually be real.
And hopefully for a better film as well. Matt, how about you? How was your experience with this year's festival?
My experience was pretty good. I agree it wasn't quite on the same tier as last year, I think. But
that's interesting to hear, because you were going into it, from what I remember anyway, very, very soft, and then you were really surprised by the lineup, from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, initially there weren't that many things that grabbed my attention, because a lot of the directors, I suppose, that were featured aren't a lot of the household names that you would usually see in a lot of the special presentations.
Right.
But then when I started digging into it a little bit more and got into some of the other categories and paid more attention to the actual premises of some of the features, I was a lot more intrigued.
Okay.
And there were a lot of things that I saw that I, never heard of. A lot of debut films from people as well, and it ended up being really good. And I mean, overall, there were only 3 films that I saw that I didn't really have a favorable opinion on afterwards, and really enjoyed a lot of them. But yeah, it just wasn't quite on the same level as last year, because last year there were a lot of really good ones sitting near the top.
Right.
And I mean, there's a clear number one for me this year that I think sits higher than my number one from last year. But overall,
Interesting. Okay.
I'd say like the top 5 from last year would beat the top 5 from this year.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's get into those top picks without further ado. Piero, what was your top pick of the festival?
My topic of the festival was The Seed of the Sacred Fig. It's an Iranian movie that I can't remember. It won one award at Cannes Film Festival this year, but I can't remember exactly which one.
I think
But
it was the Grand Prix.
Okay.
Is that one
or
of the
some
script
or
ones?
Director's Fortnight or something like that. One of the two. I might be mixing it
Okay.
up with the other one that I'm forgetting the name of as well. The
still
Indian
won
one
the-
that I'm forgetting.
Oh,
All we see is
yeah,
light or something. All we imagine is light.
all we imagine is like the in certain regard, I think is what they call
Yeah.
that one.
So then I think Seed of the Sacred Fig did win the Grand Prix. I'll check that right now
Yeah.
while you keep talking.
Tell
Anyway,
us about it. What's this film about?
Well, with having the context behind the making of the movie, kind of you like having that information really bases off of like what the movie is. Sorry, I'm not doing a good job explaining myself.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, basically it's just an Iranian film focusing on the issues currently with women being forced to always wear their hijab,
Okay.
the headpiece, and a lot of young women currently in Iran over the last few years have kind of created a stance and decided not to wear the hijab on the streets, and it's really backfired on them quite bad, and there's a lot of violence and a lot of issues going on. So currently, a lot of students are being arrested and being beaten up, and a lot of deaths have happened over the last 2 years because of this, and a lot all over the last several decades. But this movie really wanted to shine a light on that issue by kind of focusing on that event, surrounding that event, but focuses necessarily on a family that their daughter is kind of involved, and their friend gets brutally attacked, and the father, I don't want to give too much away, but the father gets involved in a pretty brutal way,
Okay.
and it kind of becomes a bit of a mystery thriller, but it really focuses on the true issues with that, and also just with the people in power, and trying to kind of like unite the people in the lower class and middle class, and everybody trying to unite to kind of like defeat the patriarchy in a way, but also just kind of create a stance on being free and being able to live how they want to. And the movie was just, it was very, very powerful, and and it had the longest ovation out of all the movies I saw this year, honestly.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, it was a very, very, very good film.
Cool.
And definitely something I've been thinking about. It's been 2 weeks now, and I'm still thinking about that movie constantly, and I I have a hard time really talking about it, but this is the first time I'm able to kind of like express my feelings because I don't really know anybody else that's had a chance to see it. But yeah, very, very good film.
Cool. Good to hear. Matt, did you find out what the award was?
Yeah, it was the special jury prize.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
do we know what that entails at all? I'm not very familiar with what.
I think that's just the jury gives them a prize, a
Okay.
special prize.
Yeah,
Fuck
and I know
if I
Greta
know.
Gerwig. Greta Gerwig was the lead on that this year.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
they got the palm, and then they got grand prize, the jury prize, the special jury prize, and then they got this other shit. I don't know.
Right.
I don't get it. It's the
That's
French,
okay.
man. They do weird things.
There's awards. They award them to films.
There's a lot of awards. Who knows why and how or who awards them?
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's good to hear. Hopefully it'll like kind of get its debut on a streaming service or something, or get a wider release.
I'm sure
Yeah.
movies gonna get their hands on it for sure.
Not a lot of or I can't even think of any Persian movies really getting a wide release in Vancouver, let alone Canada. So
well, and
hopefully this.
Wondering if like it maybe would be Iran's like potential submission for best international feature or something for like the Oscars.
I think it is. Or no, no way it would be because the government wants to fucking arrest the director for it.
Yeah, it's
well, that's
he's using it as a weapon just to kind of show the truth.
Didn't they use like real protest footage in the film that the government was trying to like suppress?
God.
Yeah.
Some pretty gnarly stuff from what I heard.
The whole movie is kind of like the background on that actual protest footage, and they shot everything all like without anybody knowing, and the whole cast and crew had to like sign a lot of papers. So even though the director that we know is going to be arrested, they've already said 8 years he's going to be arrested whenever he decides to show up to Iran again. But a bunch of the cast and crew are either currently hidden in Iran or have left the country and also will have to deal with those same issues of being arrested probably if they do return. So it's really sad, but I don't know. I'm really hoping.
Just shows like is a testament to the lengths people are willing to go to like shine a spotlight on these like problems around the world, and
Absolutely.
like making art for a truly greater purpose than just like making I mean, like, I'm sure it has some personal connections and everything to the cast and crew and everything, but like doing it for more than like just that, you know, like than what some films you would consider not smaller reasons or whatever, but like just like doing it for this cause, and just how powerful a movie they managed to make surrounding these issues, right? It sounds like it's a pretty heavy film, to say the least.
It's heavy and it's very gripping, and it's almost 3 hours long, but it's very engaging, and I was never really exhausted or tired of like the conversations. Everything was just so like shocking and yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, well, with that, let's move on to you, Matt. What was your top pick?
Call me basic, but it's Anora. I'm sorry. I mean, like, I've been a Sean Baker stan since I saw Florida Project in theaters, and yeah, the dude just keeps going bigger and better, and it's just so good. Like, what can I say? It's like it it blew me away. It's bigger and better than I ever could have thought. The performances are incredible. The writing is so good. It's easily the best script that Sean Baker has put together, and like he edits the movie himself as well. And in the middle of the film, there's this like 28-minute long real time home invasion scene that is just meticulously edited together, because he's got to like keep all these characters in different rooms, sort of like on the same timeline, and also intercutting with another person on the phone who's driving a car. And it's got all these crazy like, and in the church, yeah. And there's just so many like
so much.
it was so, that was like, I think the moment when the dude like looks at his phone, and then he goes, no, something like that.
Yeah.
Like that was the moment where I was like, okay, I'm locked in here.
Yeah.
And then the movie just keeps getting crazier and crazier, and then they go on that whole search, and without spoiling anything, because I think the movie's still not out yet. I mean, it will be when this video comes out, but holy shit, yeah, it just it's just showing Sean Baker's progression as a filmmaker. And you have this guy that is like the master of his craft. Nobody's really out there making movies like he is right now, and he's so good at capturing these people from like marginalized communities, although it's not really marginalized in this sense, but like fringe communities. And he's able to pick up people off the street that aren't actors and get these like unreal performances out of them, that like I could see almost every single actor in this movie being up for an Academy Award in like the next run. Like I think Willem Dafoe, he was nominated for his performance in Florida Project. I don't remember I don't think he won that. But I don't know if Red Rocket got much notice, but like Anora, Mikey Madison is easily getting nominated, if not winning Best Actress. Sean's going to be up for all the awards. It's going to be up for Best Picture. It's a Palm-winning film, like, so it's just, it's everything that I could have wanted. It's funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah.
And the tense scenes are really tense. And it's just like, you see it with a hot crowd, like at VIFF, and like people were cackling. It like people were so engaged with the film. It was unreal, like such a good atmosphere, which definitely elevated the experience.
For sure.
And I had already had my expectations through the roof for this thing, coming off of all the press and just how big of a fan I am and how much I was anticipating it, but it still managed to blow me away. And it is easily not only my favorite film of the festival, but my favorite of the year so far. And maybe Nosferatu can push it out come Christmas time, but like,
we'll see.
I don't know, man. It was just so good.
It's a heavy hitter.
And it's just like perfectly executed on every level. And I understand that, a lot of people are going to be put off by a lot of the sexual content in it. For sure, it's not for somebody who's a little more conservative in that sense. But I think it's done pretty tastefully and pretty like authentically, considering the
unapologetically.
Fact that, yeah, and I mean, like the protagonist is a fucking stripper, so they're not gonna like tiptoe around like not showing anything. They're gonna be like, yeah, this is kind of what it's like.
But I feel like it's in as not exploitative a way as you could when the lead is a sex worker,
Yeah, 100%. It's just very it's just such a damn good movie. I can't stress it enough. I'm literally recommending it to everybody. And yeah, it's one of those times like, they really, Greta Gerwig got this one right. Big time. Big time.
Yeah. It's always a little nerve-wracking when you get those big hitters kind of headlining festivals and stuff. You're always like never quite sure. Like sometimes the hype might get too carried away and like it gets too big for its own shoes type thing. But it's really gratifying when everyone's like, this is good. This is something special. Like you need to go see this, and it exceeds your expectations, not only meets it. Um,
Yeah.
I think for me personally, we all three got to see this, thankfully. But for my personal experience, unfortunately, I don't think I was quite in the right like mental state. So I really, really want to watch it again to give it its full due. Because like I still really enjoyed it, had a great time, laughed, like the ending hit me like a truck, like it would. But yeah, I definitely want to kind of absorb it again to really kind of soak in everything that this film has to offer. The camera
For
work
sure.
as well was like very, very well done. I loved a lot of that. And yeah, just so funny. So funny. The group of Armenians, Russians,
Yeah, the Armenians and
yeah,
Armenian.
Russians.
yeah, were amazing. They were hilarious. Um, yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend it as well, and I'll definitely be booking a wide release ticket as soon as it becomes
Yeah.
available to see it again.
And another thing that makes me
Mhm.
excited about the whole thing is kind of like the what the future holds for Sean as well, because like I've it's been sort of, I guess, public knowledge for a while now, that he's planning to make a film set in Vancouver about the downtown east side, and he's been living
Whoa.
here. Yeah. He was living here
Okay.
for a long time. He gave a Q&A for Red Rocket where he talked about it a little bit. So
Right.
it's like it's a confirmed thing. Who knows if it's going to be his next film or maybe, one more down the line, but that is coming down the pipe. And the fact that he's at this point in his career where he's on a hot streak and he's
Mm-hmm.
making these really good films, like this is the right guy at the right time to be making that kind of a movie, and I'm really excited to see what that ends up being when it happens.
That is very intriguing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think his wife has a big part to do in that because she's from here.
Oh,
And
she
that's
is.
why.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I was hoping he'd maybe even show up to the festival, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I know it's such a big
he was
movie.
in LA. There was another festival. There was Fantastic Fest or something.
Mm,
Beyond Fest,
Okay.
I think, was happening at
Okay.
the same time, and they were down there for that because it's LA, obviously.
bigger
But
fish to
Yeah.
fry, I guess.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
for sure. But
Cool.
I'm also with you guys. Like it's an unbelievable movie, and if I didn't see the Seed of the Sacred Fig, I would have definitely had Anora as my top spot of the year as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
And what about you, Nick?
for my top
yeah.
spot, it changed a few times, actually.
Okay,
Like I started off the festival really strong with Bird. I really liked that film. Um, and then I saw A Different Man. That was my top for a while. I was a little, like I said, altered with Anora, so it didn't quite reach that top spot for me.
for sure.
Um, and then like I saw Flow. I loved that movie. That was up
Flow
there.
is really good.
Alright.
But I think ultimately the one that was that the film that made me feel the way that Honora made Matt feel was Conclave.
Yeah.
I was pretty like on board with it going in. Like many of the films, going into this, I knew like next to nothing about. Like Honora was really the only one I knew a little bit about. Um, and yeah, like uh Edward Berger, director of All Quiet on the Western Front, with Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, and John Lithgow, among many others, is like a recipe for something great, and it met those expectations. It was I didn't know what to expect with it, but it was just so much more than I ever could have expected. It is like it has the trappings of like a religious like drama, but it's like the heart of it is this political intrigue at the center of this, because like it's about like the Pope dying and the conclave of priests, I guess, gathering to
The cardinals.
elect cardinals. Thank you, gathering to elect a new pope, and just the kind of inner workings of that, and following Ray Fiennes' character, who is what was his title? It was like Cardinal. No,
he was doing some kind of managing. He was in charge of running the whole.
He was the steward
process.
of the whole.
Yeah, steward, close enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
But man, it was a gorgeous film. Like,
Yeah,
the cinematography was easily gorgeous. But just like, I mean, I'm not, I won't articulate it very well, but just like the way it navigates religion and politics, is just so compelling, and it manages to weave so many human elements throughout the story as well. Like some of the characters that are sort of initially painted as antagonists or opposition even get their kind of moment in the sun to kind of display their humanity, which is really interesting. And there's just so many really tense scenes. There's a lot of kind of like going all over the place with where you think the narrative is going and who you think is going to do what and where they're going to end up and everything. And then like where it goes by the end of the film was just so unexpected.
Ending. Oh my God.
But I really liked it.
Jaw on the floor.
Yeah.
When the credits rolled.
Yeah.
It's not a true story, right?
No, it's based on a novel. But it might as well be true, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like relevant connections to be made throughout the film.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just such a powerful film and such a great sort of follow-up to All Quiet. I really, really am starting to love Edward Berger as a filmmaker, and this just was further evidence of that.
Yeah, he's also on a hot streak right now, for sure. Because All Quiet was a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still got to see that.
Yeah,
oh man. But yeah, that's my pick for this festival. There was a few that were like really kind of close. My like we can kind of go into our honorable mentions now as well for some other highlights. I already kind of went through my top half of my list effectively, but like A Different Man was really, really compelling. Some amazing performances from Sebastian Stan and
Adam Pearson
was Adam
so
Pearson.
good too.
I mean, yeah, like talk about fucking holding your own or like punching above your weight, man. Like holy shit.
Yeah, that dude stole the show anytime he was on screen.
Absolutely. But then like
he was the guy with the skin.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the one with the facial deformity. Yeah.
Okay.
Elephantiasis.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But like Flow, I'm so glad I came out of this festival with another animated feature that I just absolutely adored.
It's animated features about animals that don't have dialogue. I'm telling you, they're always good.
Keep them coming, man. Keep them coming.
Keep
one
them
a year.
Coming.
That was just so unbelievable. It felt like I don't remember the studio, but the like PlayStation game Ico, if you've heard of that, or like The Last Guardian or Shadow of the Colossus, that studio.
Yeah.
It felt very in the vein of that kind of genre or like atmosphere. Fantastic world building, fantastic like world design and everything. I mean, the animation was just something like I've never seen before.
It's gonna probably get a Criterion release within
really?
6 months. Yeah, because it's Janus Films has the rights to it.
What?
This
That's
movie
crazy
played
for
at
an animated
Cannes,
movie?
and Yeah, it's also going to be Latvia's entry for Best International Film. It's like it's getting the recognition it deserves, and it opened up with a Janus Films logo, so I assume that means that it's immediately going into the collection, sort of like what happened with
That's
EO a few years back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man,
Yeah.
I missed out then.
Yeah, dude, it fucking rips. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
it's a good fucking movie.
It's great.
It's like very atmospheric. It's very like
all of the characters, like they're so fully fleshed
gorgeous.
out. They have their own personalities. Like it's gorgeous. It's funny. It's very funny.
And it's tense as well. Like they got some tense, scary, spooky stuff
dude,
in there.
And like I'd like to think I maybe have like a soft case of thalassophobia, but like the ocean scenes, or like when the
all
cat's
the water
swimming,
related stuff,
all the water related, I really like cringed a lot of the time.
I was worried a lot of the times there.
No, that one
did you stay for the post-credits scene?
I did. That was really great.
It was very nice.
Yeah, there is a post-credit scene.
And it's essential for your heart.
Yeah.
Really?
Because boy, that like this movie made me cry, like the finale.
Dude, it's a tearjerker. Yeah.
It was the only movie that made me like fully tear up and stream down my cheeks this year. It was damn good.
I feel like that's probably what my like official honorable mention would be.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have another one that you could pull from?
I mean, the Tragically Hip no dress rehearsal screening was unreal as well. I know we gotta watch the last 2 episodes, but I'm putting it off because I know that is gonna make me sob like a fucking toddler. Getting to see like the first 2 episodes of that with the band and the director and the editor and like all those people and the band manager, everybody in the audience there.
The director was a family member of
it was Gord Downey's brother, his older brother Mike. Right. It was just like incredible, like the editing unreal, the archival footage that they found is mind-boggling. Like you've got high school recordings of these guys performing for the first time ever at a school dance, like almost a full decade before the Tragically Hip would even release their first record. Like they were like multiple bands away from even forming the Hip at that point, and somehow somebody thought to record that stuff and have it be preserved for like 4 decades.
Yeah, the chances of that happening.
Like it's insane. It's just it's crazy, and just like a thing that shows you how these guys were destined from like day one for greatness. People knew, and they're like, holy shit, we gotta keep track of these guys and see what happens. It's just so good. It's so well done, so put together, and you learn so much stuff through all of it as well. And I can't wait to finish that thing, even though I know it's going to ruin me. But
dude, the Fiddler's Green part.
The Fiddler's Green. I didn't know that fucking story. But holy shit, that made me so sad
for me. That was
like, oh well, never going to be able to listen to this song without fucking crying again.
Cool.
But that was really good.
How about you? What was your honorable mention?
I mean, I would have, as I mentioned before, I would have picked Anora, but I'll say that another good honorable mention is All We Can Imagine Is Light. That movie was also very beautiful. I really, really loved the simplicity of it all, and there's just a lot of great like little lessons just about like being with family and
what is that one about?
Kind of.
Can you give a
Indian nurses.
It's about Indian nurses, and kind of just how they live their day-to-day lives in I can't remember what main city it's the highest populated city in India, but
Delhi?
just through all the
I don't know my Indian
Don't know your
geography.
city.
That's the only city that I could name off
Anyway,
the top of my head.
it's a very loud and fast moving city, and so this movie kind of just focuses on the just kind of slowing down and trying to like focus on yourself and uh and find time for peace and yeah, like I said, it's very beautiful. It has some great like a piano score. Emma Sege Mengen, I think is her name. Great African pianist. Uh, a bunch of her music was played throughout, and that was a perfect fitting. And it was shot very well, and yeah, I really really enjoyed that one as well.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a very sweet film.
And it was like the first Indian movie to play at Cannes since like the 90s as well.
Whoa.
Yeah, true.
So it's
True.
kind of like historic in that sense. And it also won the grand prize at Cannes as well.
Okay. We're picking lots of award winners.
Well, I mean,
India's
VIFF
movie-
had a shit ton of movies from Cannes this year. Like all the award
Yeah.
winners, they had like everything,
which is great.
And that's usually my
Yeah.
go-to festival. So
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, totally. But one thing though, like it's a very good movie, but India's not submitting it as their Oscar contender, and it's
interesting.
another one that apparently is really good on Netflix. I can't remember what the name is, but apparently this movie is deemed too European for India to submit it, and
Interesting. Is it a
it's edited.
critical film of the Indian culture or government?
I mean, yeah, there are moments, but I don't think it would have stopped them from putting that as a contender. But I like there's a French guy that edited the movie, and I guess it is edited more like artistically rather than like a Bollywood movie or like whatever's just being released in India.
Yeah.
So it's a different pace, but I hopefully it's like a new awakening or more just new wave India music or movies. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that they would be like, this movie's not Indian enough. We're not gonna submit it. That seems funny to me. Because I mean, I did also notice that when I watched the trailer, I was like, huh, this looks like a lot. This doesn't look like your typical sort of like Bollywood, Tollywood production kind of that you would normally see out of India. So I mean, I guess I understand where they're coming from, but I don't know if that like that aesthetic is necessarily something that you want to be holding on to for dear life.
Yeah.
And using it as like your cultural identity for films, because like when's the last time that an Indian movie has won Best International Feature? I mean, maybe it's recently. I literally do not know. But I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
No.
So
I
like
think
maybe, do something a little different. Did
Yeah,
that win? I know it won song.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They won song, and it I think yeah, not many movies, but that movie was I guess it opened the market for Indian movies to be showed throughout the world rather than just
True.
like it's
There is
small
an
hubs.
appetite
Like,
for it.
It did, yeah.
They are entertaining.
This movie is
much so.
very different though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no people fighting tigers or prison riots, and yeah, no dance numbers and that kind of stuff in this one.
No,
It's too bad.
You see a few surgeries, you see some train rides, and some cooking.
Ooh.
A lot of simple stuff. A lot of
In it for the
mellow,
vibes.
mellow stuff.
Yummy.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's probably a pretty good spot to leave it. Yeah, it was another festival in the books. I'm happy I went, and I hope to continue doing it. I am a little sad. There was less overlap this year with like seeing stuff with friends, which I was a little sad about.
Yeah, like me and Piero didn't see a single movie together. Also didn't see
Really?
any with
Oh,
Robin
man.
either.
Yeah, I didn't see anything with her either, and I think I only saw 2 with you, Piero. Yes, technically,
yeah,
if you count Anora.
2 movies. Anora was so packed, and I just couldn't find you in the
Yeah,
dark.
that was a story.
Uh,
But yeah, well, another good festival, and I am happy to continue doing so, and I'm happy to have you both back to review it again.
Likewise.
Matt, where can the people find you?
People can find me on Letterboxd, letterboxd.com/wisdom nugget.
Perfect. And then also, just to kind of gas you up a little bit, Matt also has a pending VIFF in review article coming out for Discorder magazine.
That's true.
So if you want to go check that out, I'll leave a link to their website, or maybe a more specific link.
I'll get you a link for that. I mean, I think it won't be coming out for like another month and like a half or so after this gets released. So, you know, listeners are going to have to bookmark that for later. But
that's okay.
It's coming.
Yeah. The link will be in the description for when it does finally come out. And then also, you did a little article for Peliplat. Is that how you say the website's name?
I did that.
I've been doing a few of those. So if you want to see some of his other articles that he's been writing throughout this year, then I'll leave a link for that as well.
Yeah,
I'll leave the link.
I talk about Anora in there and Flow, and then a few other ones that we didn't touch on as well.
Go. And like Matt said, you can go check out his Letterboxd, where he has full reviews for some of the other films that he saw. And yeah, Piero, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Letterboxd as well through my name, Piero Ciprian. I could spell it out for you if you all want.
It'll be on the screen. That's all good.
Yeah,
on the screen in the description. You got it all.
Yeah, got you covered.
That's all.
Cool. And you can find me wherever you're listening to or watching this episode of the
They've already found
show.
You.
Yeah, if you're here, then
yeah, that's true.
Mission accomplished. But you can stay tuned here for any future episodes of the No Score Review Show. You can check out last year's VIFF in review, where you find all 3 of our lovely faces and voices talking about the turnout from last year. And
stay tuned for our 7-hour Megalopolis Spectacular, which is coming soon.
Yeah, stay tuned for after the credits to this video. It'll just be attached to this file, and it'll just
We're actually just going to watch Megalopolis 3 times in a row.
Just to really make sure it sinks into our brains. Yeah.
And we're going to talk throughout the whole thing, but we're not going to have mics on, so you will just hear the movie.
And then we'll do a bad lip reading crossover where they figure out what we're saying about the video.
And then we're going to watch the whole movie while Dark Side of the Moon plays. And then we're going to make all the connections that'll convince you that Francis Ford Coppola made it like that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Movie of our time.
Just like Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Just like Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
It's basically the same movie. Same structure and everything.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can find me on all the socials at No Score or at No Score Reviews. And until next time, we'll catch you all in the next review. Bye-bye.